Alright, hi, welcome back to Maya. I'm going to do a couple of different things today. First thing I'm going to start off with is making the floor flange for the uh, steampunk shelf project that we are doing. If you're at home and you're struggling to make these, you can go over to Teams and in our class section, if you go to Files and then Class Materials and Week 9, you'll just want to download this folder, steampunk, just like select it and do download, and it'll save a zip file to your downloads folder, and then you can extract that and we'll have all of these folders in here. And these are visual instructions, just image based, for how to make all the different modular pieces of this steampunk project. And I'm just going to be following for the first part of this video, I'm going to be doing the floor flanger part, in case you'd rather have a verbal explanation than just following these images, if that's easier for you. And then I'm going to split it up into sections where I cover all the rest of these parts in case you're struggling with any of those, or you just want like a slightly different method to do it. So you'll see here for the floor flanger, I'm going to be doing some boolean operations, and I just have 3 cylinders set up for the different booleans I'm going to do. This first one here, I made the inputs. I went over to the channel box and I clicked where it says polycylinder under inputs. I set the radius to 4.25, the height to 0.4, subdivisions around the axes to 24, and I did the same subdivisions around the axis for this one. And I set the height to 0.6 and the radius to 1.55. And then this one that I'm going to subtract a hole out of the middle, it's just subdivisions axis is 24 and the height I just set to 3 because I'm just going to use it to punch a hole. The reason I set it to those numbers for each of them is because I'm using those as a base for the different segments of the floor flanger part here. So like I have the base one there that's like 0.4 centimeters tall, and I have that part here that's like 0.6 centimeters tall. As you can see in the image here, it's about 1 centimeter tall in total, roughly, maybe a little bit less. I'm actually go here and change this height to 0.3 to make it more accurate. And I'm going to make sure that it's flush against it. Because the thing about booleans is you need to be sure that everything is like perfectly flush up against everything and lining up with all the vertices if you want to have a clean boolean operation that's not going to leave you with a million n-gons that'll screw up your geometry. But yeah, so once again, you can look at those inputs for the different portions of these things. Okay, so I'm just going to select these 2 parts first, and I'm going to go under Mesh, do Boolean, see Union. It should, since I'm using Maya 2022, it'll just be using the legacy Boolean option. If it's not working for you, you can probably go in here and change some of those option box things here to get it to work correctly. Well, I want it to do it along the normals though. So let's just be sure that this is working properly. It's kind of wonky. I'm gonna do I'm just gonna select the object and do it more vertices thing. If I move this vertex, okay, looks good. Scale this one, okay, looks good. Sometimes you just want to do a merge vertices operation after doing any sort of Boolean thing to make sure it's all working okay. Okay, now I'm going to do a difference Boolean to punch this hole in the middle. Yep, okay, that works perfectly. Remember, whenever you do a difference Boolean, whatever the first object that you selected, that will be the original mesh that you used. So if you try to select, like, here, I'll show you If I try to select this one first and then that one, and I try to do the difference mesh, I'm just gonna subtract it from the wrong portion, so make sure you do it in the right order. Because the order of it does matter. Okay, and for the next part, I'm going to be putting these holes around. I'm just going to grab the multi-cut tool, after I select the object, of course. If you hold down the control key, you can make an edge loop with the multi-cut tool. I'm specifically using this instead of the insert edge loop tool because I want to be able to make it at specific increment around the face here. So if you hold shift, it'll give you different percent increments. So I want this one at 50%, and I also want to do oh, it's not going to be the exact same on the bottom, is it? I want it to be the same on the bottom. I actually, hold on. I'm going to look at this real quick to see if I actually need the bottom face at all. I don't think I do, yeah. Yeah, I don't actually need the bottom face for this part because this is just going to be resting against a surface of the table that I have over here. It's just a box. Very simple. Yeah, I'm going to delete all these faces because I don't actually need them. Okay. And I need to poke holes in for these vertices. So I'm going to vertex mode, select these for the whole points, and then I want to poke vertices. Where's that tool? Can I do is under edit mesh? Actually, it's chamfer vertices, not poke. I was thinking of poke faces. Default visions is fine. Let me look real back at this real quick. I want to select these faces. I'm going to do edit mesh circularize. It's under here. Circularize. It's this one. What do I need? I want to add divisions and make the radial offset a bit different. I'm going to add 2 divisions, and I'm going to make the radial offset 0.1, so they can be a little bit bigger. And then the next part of this is to do some extrusions. So I'm just going to do Control E. Whoops, wrong key. I press spacebar instead of Alt. And I want the thickness to be -0.3. So that it can be flush against the bottom of this, which is also 0.3. If it's not like that, I can just do a vertex snap. And can I delete these faces? I believe I can. Actually, I will not be doing that. Okay. Next part is to just do bevels around different areas. Okay. That's super easy. I just select all these parts. Oh. These ones don't like to have their edges selected because they're part of an n-gon. Can I just do a paint select on them? I'll make it go slightly faster, yeah. Alright. Sometimes paint select gives you edges that you don't want, so make sure you deselect them. Oh. Why is this one also being weird? Oh, I think I might know why. I'm going to deselect it first. I'm going to pretend I'm British for a moment. bevel. I'll just set segments to 2 for all these. I think I might have a vertex merging issue around here. Yeah, okay. Now I just selected all those vertices and did a vertex merge, so now I should be able to just double click the edge loop and select it. Okay, now I can bevel the exact same way I did the rest of everything. Make sure the fraction's set to 0.1, so it's the same as everything else. I made a mistake here. Do Control Delete. Make sure you do Control Delete when you have that mistake, so that you're getting rid of the extra vertices. Yeah, I got rid of them. Okay. Yeah, I believe this is all that I need for this part. Okay, so there's the floor flange, I believe is what that's called. We could, I could show how to do some screw heads on this part. I suppose I could just do a good old like hexagonal screw. You know, the classic. I want the radius to be like 0.1, just so I can see where it's going to be at first. Yeah, that way it's centered. Now I can raise it to, I don't know, 0.5. Okay. And I want that to be flush against the face. And I want this part to be down here. I'm not bound by exact rulings at the moment. I could just pretend that's a screw in of itself, but I want to be a little bit cooler than that. So I'm going to make a cube. I'm just going to snap it to the center of here. And I'm going to do a quick difference operation. That cube is too fat. It needs to be skinnier so that it actually looks like a normal screwdriver thing that you'd use. There we go. Now it looks like one. And I can just like copy and paste that to the other locations. But you don't necessarily need screws for your project. I'm just doing that because I want a little bit of detail with my own personal touch. Okay. Now I'm going to show how to get the proper measurements for all of these parts. I believe you should have all done all these ones in class already, but if you're missing anything, then you can watch the rest of this video, but if not, and you already have all these things, then I guess it's not required. This box here, I just have the dimensions set to 45 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 2 centimeters. This one's 35 instead of 45. And I just beveled all the edges, and I did a multi-cut down the middle and at 10% on both ends for each of them, because I'm going to be putting the floor flanger parts on them. Or no, these are going to go on like the wall, actually. And there's like different parts that we're going to put on here. That's just like where these things connect. It's like I can just go like, oh, it connects here. That's how it's gonna work. That's the point of these like cross-section cuts, is so that I can actually like assign the locations to the things. I'm very hot, so I'm gonna turn on my fan real quick. Haha, I know you're hot, Susanna. Thank you, lesbians. I knew I was. I don't know if there are any lesbians in our class. I'm gonna show how to do this part now, so I'm just gonna move all that over there. Let's see, let's start with the cylinder. Let's look at the dimensions first of all that we're gonna need. So for the short connector, this middle part, so it's 2 centimeters, and then 2.7, and then the outer part is 3.1. So there's a couple of ways to go about it. Let's see, how tall is it in total? It's 3.5 tall in total, but this middle part is actually 2.8? No, 2.7? 2.3? What's 3.5 minus 1.2? I've forgotten already. It's 2.3. It's 2.3. I'm super good at math. This is why I'm a VFA. Okay. We're going to do a lot of extrusions that are like exact dimensions here. So for the height, I'm going to do that part first. I want the thickness to be 0.6 on both parts. Okay. So that now we have the full entire height of it at 3.5 centimeters. And this part that we're going to extrude, the flange, is 6 centimeters on both sides. And next we're going to extrude it in the other way to 2.7. So I'm going to set the thickness to 0.35 because that is half of 7 is going in both directions at once, which will make it equal to 7. And then this part is 3.1, so I'm going to do here and here, extrude, do the thickness to be 0.2. And then it's like, wow, Susanna, we like pretty much already have it done. Yes, we do. Need to get rid of these parts first, though. Boop. Boop. Delete. Oh, wait. What? Why didn't I delete it? Oh. Let's just make sure I didn't screw anything up, so I'm just going to do a quick merge vertices. Actually, I forgot something. I just remembered. This is supposed to be 24, but if you do that, it's too late. Oh my god. Okay. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to pretend that everything I just did didn't happen, and I'm going to start over. Okay. We're starting over because I screwed up the first time. Set the subdivision axis to 24 this time, and the height to 2.3 because that's the height of the body portion. And next part, I'm just going to extrude the caps. I'm going to do 0.6 up and down because it needs to be 1.2 centimeters taller because 2.7 plus 1.2, or 2.3, sorry, plus 1.2 equals 3.5. I don't know why I keep getting 2.7, I'm just looking at that number right there. But we do need to get that for the girth. This is going to be 0.35. Not 4.5, 3.5 in the outer direction because 3.5 plus 3.5, because they're going left and right at once and forward and back, equals 7. And then I want to do that again for these parts, and they're going to be 0.2, I believe, right? 0.2 centimeters? Yeah, because we want to have 0.4 for the flange. Okay, now I can get rid of these things. these caps at the end. I'm just doing a careful marquee select to delete them. I don't need these here anymore. I'm gonna delete those. Control delete, by the way. Don't forget it. And that's most of this part with all the exact dimensions. I just need to bevel it. I'm not going to do the bevel yet, but this is how you would do it. I would just leave the fraction as 0.5 and set the segments to 3. But I'm not going to do that yet, because I want to create the tall one next. Oops. I want to set the manipulator to the bottom. Okay. Ooh, I want to snap it. Okay, I'm going to do Control D to duplicate this. And I'm going to copy this thing. Okay, so now I need something that is 5 centimeters tall. I'm just going to get this cube here. I'm going to make the height 5 centimeters because I'm going to do the tall one next. Because this part needs to be 5 centimeters tall. And I am going to get this, and I'm going to snap it to here. I'm just going to put it about right next to it. And I'm going to go into vertex selection mode, and I'm going to move the pivot here. And I'm going to just slide it up to there. So now this whole thing is 5 centimeters tall. You're going to notice now that whenever you try to select any of the vertices, it's going to get screwed up and it's going to be stuck wherever you moved it initially. Just double click your move tool and go to where it says reset and just click that, and then it'll be back to normal. If you ever move the manipulator when you're moving the components, that will happen. Okay, there's actually something I forgot to do here on both of these things, and that is the interior parts that you'll see there. So I'm just going to do an extrusion local translate Z and do -0.6 because that's how many centimeters it is. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, so don't forget. Okay. And then you could go ahead and do the bevel on the interior corners of this part too. So that's the tall and short joint thingies. These things are basically just cylinders that are set their subdivisions to be 24. And then like set to the right height, obviously, which you should know how to do. So I'm not going to cover those. I might cover this thing though. I think I should. There's a couple parts to this one. I need to get the right height first. I need to pull up the right image. So the T connector. This thing is a little bit different in height. So it's 4.4 centimeters tall for the body part. So let's get that part first. Let's make this thing 4.4 now so that we have a ruler for it. I'm just going to clone this. Oops. And move it over so it's like aligned with the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing I did to the other one, where I just grab all these, set it to the bottom, and then move it down to snap to that. And then I go and I reset the pivot so that it's not screwed up when I try to move anything. I'm going to do a cut in the middle for this one. And actually for this specific thing, I'm going to temporarily close these up. Ooh, I don't want to do it like that. I'm going to merge to center, and then go to the bottom and do merge to center again. Okay, now I need to duplicate this and rotate it 90 degrees. Sorry about that, my roommate's talking in the background. Um, is my thing centered? No, it's not. Okay, here. Actually, I need to close this thing off too, actually. Merge to center. I'm doing this so that the Boolean operation can be centered exactly. I'm so sorry about the background noise. Mesh, union. Yep, that's good. And now this way we won't have any funkiness going on inside. And I can just go ahead and delete these faces. There we go. That's the T connector. The elbow connector, the donut one, is a little bit different. Let me look at the dimensions of it again. I gotta look at this. Ooh, let's see here. It's this one. That's what we want. Okay. Let's get our torus created first. I'm going to rotate it on its side. I'm just going to move it over here. So the radius is 2.21, right? The section radius is 1.35. The twist is 0, subdivision is 32, height is 20. Okay. Whoops, I didn't mean to move that. This thing, I'm going to get rid of this half of it, as well as that half. These faces and these faces. Alright. You might be wondering how I'm going to get the rest of this on here. I'm going to move this up so that it snaps to there. And I'm going to grab this, extrude that down. I have to just snap it to the grid. And I'm going to do this again. I'm going to move the pivot to here, rotate it on its side, move that there, and do the exact same thing I just did. Okay, awesome. Let's make these face normal. Hold on. This is going to be 0.2. Also, you might notice that these parts are here. I'm just going to delete those. Because I want to make sure it is exactly correct. Local translate C for this part is going to be negative 0.4. Nope, negative 0.6. Yeah, that's what it is. And then I do it up too, by the way. Negative 0.6. Negative 0.6. And then negative 0.6. And then obviously you would bevel that corner. And alright. And that's the whole thing. I'm just gonna stop the video here. So hope that helped you with your process. I wish you luck on this project.